Good evening, everybody. Welcome to week 3 of our 21-day challenge. This is the home stretch, so I am so excited that you are all on this call tonight. What we are going to be talking about tonight is a little bit of a recap of where we've been, where we're going, and what this 21-day challenge was meant to be and how it's out there to help you. So once again, thanks Facebook Live for being on this call with me tonight. Welcome everybody. And I just want to know how everyone is doing. I would love to have you start to post some of your results, not necessarily even the amount of weight that you've lost at this point, since one of the components of TLS is all about changing our body composition. What I'd like to know is how your measurements have changed from when we first started a few weeks ago. I've been hearing from many of you throughout the week. Thanks for all of your text messages and all of your posts online. I think it's really pretty awesome. And today, I just really want to know how you're finding things with preparing for yourself as you're starting to move through week 3. Some of you are a little behind, some of you are a little bit ahead. So I just am curious to please post how everybody is doing. Once we get toward the end of this call and this recap, then I will absolutely go ahead and stay on as I have in the past and answer any questions that you have. So TLS, the 21-day challenge, is really meant for 2 things. For someone who might need to get off a couple of quick pounds for an event that they have coming up, or for most of you, it's truly about a kickstart for a longer-term lifestyle program. Remember, TLS is not about a diet that you're waiting for it to end. It's not something that is just going to be over with. This is really about lifestyle change, which is what does make us so different from everyone else. I work with a lot of health professionals and their patients, and it's so wonderful to reach the masses out there and know that we're truly making a difference. I wanted to share this with you tonight because I just received a letter from a health professional that I work with who implements TLS weight loss in their family practice. And this is what they wrote to me, which I thought was so cool. It says, I want to thank you for helping me incorporate a low glycemic weight management program and lifestyle-centered protocols into my family practice. The TLS program is significantly supporting the outcomes that I have been aiming for with my patients. Improved body composition, improved blood glucose management, reduced joint pain and inflammation, reduced blood pressure, increased energy and positive mental attitudes, having A1C starting to drop, managing my diabetes of my patients so much with great support, new lifestyle habits. Each patient who's been through this program has come back pleased with their results. Thank you for your partnership and wellness. Well, all I could say is it doesn't get much cooler than that. We just work so hard to work with people. And, with 1 out of 2 people that are struggling with their weight, you just need to understand that the basics of TLS are really anything that anybody can do. So whether or not we have somebody who participates in the 21-day online live Facebook program that we have right now, or perhaps they would like to try and work on this on their own, just remember that that 21-day kit has all of the information in there to get somebody started right away. So it's a really fabulous program out there. We are so streamlined that anyone can succeed, whether or not you have a TLS coach. But of course, I really believe that having someone who can support you and coach you along the way is really the way to go to answer those questions for you. I've had some really great questions this week. So when we talk about weight loss specifically, what really goes wrong out there? Well, diets just don't work. They really don't, because it's what people think they just will do, and then they just go back to their old lifestyles, and they never really understand how to make lifestyle changes. And that's where we really set the bar high for making a difference in your life and perhaps people around you. The reality out there is that there's so much wrong with weight loss, and it's important to know that diets don't work because many of them just focus on what you lose on the scale, which is often muscle and water loss. I'm not a huge fan of the scale. I don't need my clothes to tell me how much I weigh. I know when my clothes fit me better, when I have more pep in my step, when I have great energy, and when I'm just feeling really good in my own skin. And that's what I really hope for you. We need to make sure that we're eating enough so the body gets the nutrients that we need in order to function properly. And this should help. People throughout these past couple of weeks have told me that they're having less brain fog, that they're more alert in the afternoon, they're more willing to get out there and to exercise. You know, most diets often put an emphasis on what to eat, but they really don't teach you how to eat. They focus on the scale and not on fat loss, and they don't support really the hormones or metabolic changes. So we want to be able to teach you how to eat, because as we all know, weight loss isn't magic. It's really about science. So when you look at what really, really works, you probably can see why so many programs have such great failure to them. So why do people have obstacles, and what are they? And maybe you can post tonight some of what your obstacles really are. This is just life. It could be that there's lack of exercise, or perhaps the rest of your family eats unhealthy. I have a lot of clients tell me, well, I have kids in the house, so I have to have all this junk. And the truth is that you're in charge of bringing the food into your house. You set the stage, and you can really make a difference not only in your health and wellness, but you have the ability to set an example and be the role model for the rest of your family. Sometimes people get stuck on being prepared for foods that they need, or the amount of cooking time that's necessary, which is why it is so important to be able to prepare and make sure that you have what it is that you need for yourself. So it's being accountable for you. I know a lot of you had, thanked me for some of the tips that I put out there, such as going to the supermarket and having your lunch meats weighed out for you in individual packages, which really makes it so easy when you get out there to just get a lunch together, whether you're having a salad and you need to just throw your turkey or your chicken breast on, you know exactly what 4 to 6 ounces looks like. Most people tend to underestimate, not overestimate, by the way, what they're eating. So we can really help you maintain and work through your obstacles so that you could reach your health and wellness goals. Our program is really meant to be comprehensive and customizable, and it is backed by science, and that's why we focus on the lifestyle approach. So we want you to look better and to feel better. And I know that we've talked a lot about supplementation and the benefits, and I hope that you're finding that they're really helping you, perhaps with reducing inflammation or giving you some more energy. If you're feeling a little slack of energy, then maybe try adding an activated B complex to your repertoire of your regimen of supplements that you're taking to give you that additional boost that you might need during the day. Getting out there and exercising. I had a very busy day today, but I knew I had this class tonight, and what I did is I stopped everything at 5 o'clock, got off the computer, and I got onto my bike, and I rode for a half an hour just because I am committed to being committed to me. And that's what it all comes down to. No one can do this for you. You need to be accountable for you. So we have given you a lot of the tools for success. Some of you have talked about cravings totally dissipating, and that's really, really fabulous because that's what we want to do. We want to target fat as your fuel resource so that you have more energy throughout the day. And remember why exercise is truly so important at this point in whatever you're doing, because the muscle will dictate your metabolism. So it is important to get out there and to work on that muscle mass and keep the lean muscle mass to really try and reduce that stubborn, a lot of people, talk about the stubborn belly fat that they have. Well, let's get out there and to start moving a little bit. The other really great piece that I love about TLS is that we don't restrict food groups. You can see that we have proteins. Even our vegetables do have carbohydrates, and believe it or not, there is protein in some of the vegetables that you're eating too, so you're getting additional in there. And we also support healthy fats. So that's really great. Someone had asked me, why don't we have dairy? Well, dairy is not one of those food groups that we were ever meant to have. And if we totally eliminated dairy from our lifestyle, that would be totally fine. 70% of dairy is fat, and a lot of people find that they have a lot of allergies and mucus production related to fat. And my clients know the two things that I always tell them that will get them into trouble no matter what, it just is always the case, are two things. And I know all of you are probably laughing out there: nuts and cheese. Why? Because nuts, when we get into changing our habits next week, and if we want to incorporate them, we can. But on the average, nuts, a serving size of that is approximately 14 nuts. Now, let me tell you, I could sit down with a canister of nuts or open it up, and I take a big handful. And by the time that protein reaches my brain, I probably had 4 handfuls worth. So those nuts and cheese are two of those foods that what I call their crossovers. In other words, so we have protein that's associated with them, when some of them are really good sources of protein, but there's also a lot of fat in them. And that's where sometimes we get stuck on our tracks, especially if we're already incorporating adding additional fats, whether it's olive oil to our salad dressings, or maybe you had a piece of steak for dinner at night, and so you had some additional natural fat. Or people have told me that they sit down and instead of a half of an avocado, they're having a whole big avocado, and that's really 2 days worth of servings of fat. So even though avocado is a great healthy fat, please try to limit the quantities of what it is that you're having. When I make a salad and I add avocado, I do not add olive oil to my salad, because I'm getting all of the fats that I need and the texture and the creaminess and the flavor from the avocado. So just make sure that you're picking really great things. It's very funny. My husband and I went to a store in our neighborhood this weekend, and we decided to grab some lunch. And the reason I like going there is they have a phenomenal salad bar. So I have my usual choice of salad. I will use a dark green lettuce. I will add in some cabbage, some onions, some beets. I will have fresh turkey breast put in. I will add in some roasted red peppers and ask them to cut a half an avocado and put it on the top. And I might throw some peppers in, or some carrots, or some cucumber, whatever it is. It's a really great salad, and they chop it up for me. And I have news for you: I put lemon juice on it, and before you know it, I'm stuffed halfway through, and I'm sometimes forcing myself to eat the salad. But then my husband came over and he couldn't find something to eat, so he decided to make a salad too. So I was watching, and he took iceberg lettuce because that's what he likes. And I noticed he put in red peppers, he put in carrots, he put in garbanzo beans, he put in like 2 huge servings of dried cranberries, and he put tomatoes in, and then he had a fried like chicken breast. And I looked at him and I said, you just made a very unhealthy salad. And well, of course he got, a big thing of dressing, and he poured the whole thing on it too. And he said, what do you mean? I got salad for lunch, and I had chicken, and I had vegetables. I said, but every single vegetable that you selected tonight was a high glycemic vegetable. So what you wound up doing was, it's what I call sneaking in sugar in the back door, by taking all of the high glycemic vegetables that are on the food lists that you all have, and then thinking we're doing a really great job. Now, look, the truth is it better to have what he had than perhaps a club roll with a piece of brisket on it, or a big fat cheeseburger on a white bun? Yes, of course it is. But what I wanted to say is that while we're having the lifestyle that we have, it can still be delicious and wonderful, but we just have to make cleaner, healthier choices. So I told him to skip the corn. I forgot he put corn in there also. And it was really funny, and I wanted to talk about that tonight because it just brought up for me how we sometimes think that we're doing something really terrific, where what's really happening out there is that we are sabotaging ourselves in ways that we're not even thinking about. So I want you to think about it. I want you to ask those questions and take the food lists with you. Make a copy of it. Keep it on your cell phone. So if you're going out to a salad bar or you're going out to a restaurant, you really know what it is that is where you're supposed to be. If you're having fruit, remember what the quantity is. On Fat Shredder, it's 1 fruit a day. So be selective with how you choose to use that fruit. One of you during the week asked me about that and said then, well, what happens then? I'm feeling hungry. And what was going on was that the fruit was being added to the protein shake. That's really great if that's how you like it. But I would tell you that you're still much better off sitting down and eating a whole orange and getting the pulp and the fiber and everything else of the nutrients going into your body so that your body is burning and working it instead of having it all put together in a shake, because even though you might be filled up, it's one less thing that you really get to eat throughout the day. So just keep in mind that the Fat Shredder program that you have, you can stay on that for as long as you want. There is no reason to come off of that. However, what we will be doing as we move into next week is introducing our next menu plan, which is Rapid Results, where we start to incorporate some additional foods into our lifestyle. Now, we do have another menu plan out there. We have a few of them actually, and one is called Sure and Steady. Some of my clients opt to do that because it has on it, you can have a starch, you can have a healthy choice of bread, you can have half a sweet potato, you can add some other things to it, and that's all great, especially those of you who might be vegetarian or are looking to have other sources of protein other than your meats and your fish, and maybe you want to have some beans as a source of protein. That's fine. This is your journey. I'm here to support you. But just remember what your results will be. It will probably be a little bit slower than what you're expecting. But you know what? The good news about that is there's no rush here. Just remember that the weight that it is that you have to lose, you did not put the weight on in 3 weeks. You're not going to be taking it off in 3 weeks. Although I can tell you that in 3 weeks you will be shedding quite a bit of weight, and I know that you're just going to feel better, which will keep you motivated to move forward with continuing the lifestyle. So when we get off of this call tonight, I did release several documents into the Unit 3 module in our Facebook group. So please take a look at those. And I will go ahead and I will add the next menu plan for those of you that are already going forward with the Rapid Results because perhaps you're close to being finished. So the other piece is to make sure that you continue taking your supplements. It's important. Remember that the TLS lifestyle is not just about the food choices that we have. It's about the targeted science-based supplementation that supports a lot of different metabolic changes and hormonal pieces in our body. So it's important to continue to take your supplementation until you have reached your goals. And then I have always had, outside of the TLS supplements, my foundational supplementation, which would be my multivitamin, my antioxidant, which is my OPC3, my calcium, my vitamin Bs. Some people talk to me about muscle cramps. Well, magnesium is wonderful for that, and so is calcium. I also take statins. A lot of my clients do. If you're on a statin and you're having leg cramps, then perhaps you'd like to talk about CoQ10. Vitamin D, we've all been in New York. Some of you are not in New York, but those that have, we've been inside in the winter. We haven't been able to get out in the sun, and vitamin D is super important. So you can ask your health professional to do some blood work on you, and you can see where your vitamin D levels are, and we can help to support that also in isotonic formulation. We just released the Isotonic Complete Greens, which is phenomenal. It's organic, and I will put a flyer out there on the Facebook page to tell you all about that. That might be something that you also might want to incorporate and add into the shakes that you're having, because that's going to give you some of those really cruciferous greens and some really great nutrients that you might not be getting through the vegetables that you're currently eating. So it's important to understand why supplementation is so important. So I'm going to give you I'll give you 10 reasons as to why. One is there is total mineral deficiency in soil, which is how our food is grown. You know, commercial agricultural techniques leave soil deficient in important minerals, causing the food grown in the soil to share those same mineral deficiencies. And we can say that within the past 50 years, we have about 30% of the nutrients in our foods than 50 years ago, based on just how our food is grown. So think about also the inadequate daily level of nutrients that we have. You know, we're talking about processing some of our foods by cooking and preserving foods. And what that leads also is to nutrient depletion in our food supply that makes it difficult to obtain nutrition from foods alone. So some minerals that we need in our bodies, if we don't make it, then we need to take it, plain and simple. So just keep that in mind. And I know that you've heard a lot about GMO, and some of you might not be clear on what GMOs really are. So those are genetically modified organisms, and those do not provide adequate nutritional value. Believe it or not, there are many fruits and vegetables out there that are genetically bred, so they improve the visual appeal to you and crop yields. There's really not any additional nutrient value there, and that will also affect nutritional values less than our ancestors' food supply. You know, if you think about it, if you go into a food store in the middle of January and you look at all of those beautiful tomatoes lined up, and they're all the same exact size and the same exact color, you have to know that they're not coming from New York. Where are they coming from? How have they been preserved? What is being put on to our food to get them to be exactly the same? And a lot of that is, you know, kind of topic for another discussion. But it's really important that we understand that we have to be smarter, which is why I love home, you know, markets. There are food co-ops out there. Start looking for more of the natural, quick, from farm to market types of foods, because you will not have things that have been preserved or frozen and then unfrozen for you, believe it or not. You know, many of us also have poor eating habits just based on our busy lifestyles, erratic eating habits, and insufficient chewing of food, whether we're eating on the run, eating when we're in the car. How many of us do that? I'm truly guilty of that sometimes. And stress really does contribute to poor digestion, which makes it difficult for our bodies to extract all of the nutrients that it needs from our foods. Also think about lifestyle, health, and age, which also determines your needs, believe it or not. And you know, we all say men lose weight easier than women for the most part. Why? Because, of course, they have more lean muscle mass than women do. You know, there are specific times in our lives and health conditions where our bodies might cry for higher needs of certain nutrients. For example, folic acids tends to be higher during pregnancy, while menopausal women may be vulnerable to calcium deficiencies. So we're all in different places based on what our needs are. I work with some clients that have had bariatric surgeries, and that's an entirely different set of needs that you might have in order to make sure you're getting the complete nutrients in the body. Now, pollution also increases our body's needs for healthier nutrients. You know, increasing levels of environment pollution, whether it's in the air, water, or food, can also cause our bodies to use more nutrients than normal to detoxify and eliminate harmful substances. So just think about that. And that's especially true for some of the antioxidant vitamins, which are, I call the ACE vitamins, which are really the vitamins A, C, and E. And of course, we also know that DNA does play a role in your individual needs. You know, we all have genetic weaknesses, we do. And unfortunately, New York is the only state in the nation does not allow us to test for genetic testing. But there are states outside of New York where you can figure out what some of the triggers are for what your nutritional needs might be, or how you might be predisposed to challenges with losing weight. So also there can be higher rates of depletion for certain nutrients and an increased likelihood of genetic expression of some illnesses if vitamins or mineral deficiencies are present. So supplementation really can help you and may help with some sickness and disease states. You know, there are many nutrients that have been proven to aid in the treatment of health conditions such as high cholesterol, arthritis, birth defects, and so on and so forth. Diabetes, I work with a lot of diabetics, and through a low glycemic index lifestyle, we are seeing huge changes in the blood sugar levels that people have because they're starting to take control of the management of the sugar within their bodies. Just remember, you don't ever wake up on Monday morning with diabetes. There is this process that our bodies go through to get to that disease state. So if your doctor tells you that you're pre-diabetic, I'm sure that there are a lot of things that have happened prior to that. So I bring that up because I think it's important that when we're on a weight management plan and we're trying so hard to lose weight, we expect these huge results, and some of them are really expectations that aren't valid. You need to understand that as long as you are continually making better choices with how you eat your food, exercise, hydration, really great supplementation, getting better sleep, all of those pieces of the puzzle will really start to pull together. And once you start to get all of those pieces aligned, the weight will really take care of itself. It's a mindset of what we wind up doing with what we choose to do with our bodies. So I am so excited again that you're all on this call tonight. I thank you so much. I hope that you've gotten a lot out of these last 3 weeks. Next week is really a bonus week for you, where we're going to talk about how to move forward and what to do next so that you can continue this lifestyle with ease and with comfort. So, you know, just hi to everyone who's been, you know, on this call tonight. I thank you for being here. I'm going to finish the live call right now and stay online and answer all of your questions. I hope that you have a fabulous week. Keep strong. You guys are almost there. I think we have like 7 days to go. I hope you like the countdown that I've been posting all week, because I hope it inspires you and motivates you to continue your changes. So just get out there, guys and girls, and just really make a difference. Summer is right around the corner. Let's feel good. Let's feel great and work on this challenge together. I'm always here for you. Please reach out if you ever have any questions. Have a great night, everyone. Bye.